how much music can we play to get away with to where it's we won't get pulled down for
Right.
copyright?
It's like a few seconds or something like that.
Because I really want to use the start to the
You've got
Transformer.
the touch.
You got the power. There, maybe that gets us what we need.
On. Ben, can you check my stream from your device? My stream preview.
I just saw it pop up and said you were up. Let me grab it.
My thing was just lying to me. Okay, there we go. It wasn't updating. Welcome, 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 welcome.
Welcome.
How we doing? How we living? How we being? Welcome to Mouthbreathers Guild Live. Live stream every Wednesday. Talk comics. It's a good ass time. We are the Mouthbreathers Guild. It is I, Kiwi Spicy. I got Ben Hill in the camera above me, and I've got Manny's voice emanating from the ether.
It's my voice.
He's also streaming. You can check his stream. Sometimes I'll stream his stream. I might actually stream his stream just because he's got the trade. Whatever. I want to see Ben's face. Speaking of Ben's beautiful face.
I have so many people telling me, like, you need to stream your own thing. And I'm like, but then we've got 3 streams going. I like to be able to actually have a conversation with people. But, you know, I don't know.
Plus, it's like you can participate in the live chat if, you know, I'm not here.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Well, and Manny's setup looks so much better than mine. You want to look at a desk with a bunch of ink and shit spilled all over it?
Oh, I did not plug in my phone. That's a crucial piece of this puzzle.
That's all good. But if you're joining us in the chat, whether it's Manny or in the Mouthbreathers Guild or Kiwi Spicy's, sorry, Kiwis or Manny's, just chat away. I'll be monitoring. I always like to chat back, and we'll do our best to, if you have questions, you got comments, we'll bring them up, talk about them while we're talking about, what are we talking about today, boys?
Transformers. Daniel Warren Johnson's first 6-issue run on Transformers, the Energon universe. This is the biggest thing going on in comics right now, and if you're not reading it, you're wrong. You're just doing the wrong thing. You should be reading this fucking book. You should be reading Duke. You should be reading Cobra Commander. Destro and Scarlet come out soon. Void Rivals, how could I forget? That book also rocks. But, of course, before we get into the discussion, we have to discuss what we make. We are indie comics creators, and first off, I've got Ben's book, The Time Police. Ben, tell them about Time Police.
You mean the official copy of the Time Police?
Yes.
These are just proofs, but look at how pretty this is. Oh my. Yeah, I've got an actual physical copy in my hand. It's full comic book format. It's 32 pages of beauty on the inside. We've got a gorgeous wraparound cover for the cover A. And then, you know, I'm not going to say there's covers B and C. There's just amazing badass covers from Manny Tavares.
Yeah.
And Siler Bedoya. I mean, freaking awesome these are. These are badass variants. They're so freaking cool.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, so we got our physical proofs in. We reviewed everything. We're working with the printer to make sure that we have copies in hand for Heroes Con. So if you're not going to make it to Heroes Con, don't worry. We're looking at putting it up on our Redbubble store, so you can get it out on our Redbubble at _Time Police. And we'll have physical copies in the Acme Downtown store in Greensboro. So if you can make it to Greensboro, North Carolina, and you're close, or want to make a special trip, dude, the store is well worth it. You can go to their downtown shop. You can go to their Lawndale store. This all just ends up becoming a huge plug for Acme because they rock. But the Time Police is a buddy police time travel story. So you've got Ben and Jay who are protecting the timeline, getting in trouble, and adventures and misadventures. And are those the only kind of adventures? I don't know. I'm not the writer.
Disadventures, sub-adventures, ultra adventures, mega adventures.
Yes.
All of
them. The collective adventures across the time stream. So if you like Loki, if you like all the 80s references, if you like buddy cop stories, then this is the story for you. So just incredibly excited to have a physical copy in my hand and cannot wait for others to do the same.
Heck yes. Heck yes. And if you happen to go to Acme
Yeah.
Comics downtown to get a copy of Time Police, you can also stop and get a copy of Renowned. This is Manny
yeah.
and I's sci-fi fantasy monster of the week anthology. We've got characters with intersecting lives. We've got mechs, mages, wizards and lizards, warriors and Vikings, kings and queens and conquerors. And they're all here. And look at this fucking art. I mean, Manny is just crushing it. I like to think I helped. You know, we got a good thing going. You should check this book out. It's on the local artist shelf at Acme Comics. Also, Manny has, and you can get this at HeroesCon should you find us at HeroesCon. Also, Manny will be selling his Legend of Carl book, Deep Rock Galactic fan comic, Legend of Carl. Manny, anything you want to say about Legend of Carl?
So this is, Deep Rock Galactic, my little flavor added to the Deep Rock lore. Let me move my mic closer. And it's all watercolor, little dash of digital touch-ups here and there, but mainly watercolor and hand lettered, all sorts of good, delicious things for the craft. Okay, so it's a
If you
fun
want to
time.
buy his original pages for this, they will also be at HeroesCon.
Oh, it's true.
Watercolored on the
There's that.
page.
Yeah, if you can beat me to it. It just depends on how much money I have those days.
And finally, Manny's got his new book, Remise. I've got the sneak peek preview right here. Oh man, this book is great. It is dark fantasy, it is heavy, it is heart and soul, blood, sweat, and tears on the page. Manny, tell him about Remise.
So Remise is, something I've been drawing up in the past for over the past few years, and finally finished it recently. Got it printed, and yeah, just a whole lot of energy was put into this book. So I'm
How
glad
many
for it to.
Manny? How many
Say
pages?
what? 60 pages.
Dude,
60 pages.
it's insane. It looks gorgeous. I'm excited to have that in my hands. I just need to know that I need you to know I'll be paying a premium for it. So whatever it costs for that added signature, I don't know if I can get a sketch on the inside cover, but I'm looking at least $100 just to make sure I get the full treatment. So
Oh, thanks, man.
Oh, we love our homies. We love making art, so buy it. Support us. We'll continue making art. That's the way it goes.
That's right.
But digging into Transformers, I hear that these are robots with which are in disguise.
Indeed.
The trade just came out, which was our inspiration for doing this. It came out at the beginning of May. And Manny picked that up. You can check his stream for any kind of differences. We were collecting singles, Ben and I, so we'll be looking through the singles. But it's in trade. All of the Energon books are in trade now. I think we're just waiting on Cobra Commander, but like Duke just came out this week. Void Rivals first trade is out. Transformers first trade is out. They're pumping these things out. They want books in people's hands. They got multiple printings. Yeah, it's the new big thing. So my question for you is, why haven't you read it yet? This should be something we're all talking about together. You know what I mean? There's Cobra Commander. Yeah. All my Energon books are in the other room. But this is Transformers is now up to issue 8. 9 is coming out in June, I believe. But the first 6 issues are written and drawn by Daniel Warren Johnson. After issue 6, it is drawn by Jorge Corona, who is also doing great work. But we're here just to talk about Dan, the man with the plan, of which we are stands. Fellas, what are our initial thoughts about Transformers?
Dude, he's been wanting to do this for a long time. We saw little dashes of it in Ghost Fleet, a little flavor of Optimus Prime sketches.
And Space Mullet.
And Space Mullet, and Dan finally gets his little hands, little manly hands on this story, doing it all, baby. So I thought it was fun. I love seeing his art. He's definitely chunky. He's doing a little different things with making those Transformers have like a natural line to it, little waviness to it, even though I'm pretty sure he's using a ruler, but
he said he wasn't
able to add that flavor. Oh, really? He's not?
Yeah, he's not. He was actually he didn't like how rigid the ruler lines came out, so he was just being super tense with his lines, is the way he described it.
Damn. So was he taking that from Jeff Senior? I think Jeff Senior did the same thing with his Transformers book.
I don't know. I just think that it really adds to kind of like an organic quality in his Transformers, you know.
Oh yeah, for sure. It definitely adds that. I mean, or was it? I know he talked about his inspirations for this book being Gundam: The Origin and Dominion,
Ooh.
by Masamune Shiro, I believe. And their books are insane. I mean, the Gundam: The Origin book is beautiful, and he talks about that being loose and fun to look at. There's super dynamic mechs up in there, looks super fun, well designed, and I think that I'm confusing Jeff Senior with the Gundam book, because the Gundam book that was done without a ruler. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so he was taking a lot of inspiration from that book along with a few others. But Jeff Senior being like old Transformers artist, or not old, but he did Transformers a little bit ago, and it was very bold, bulky, and it's really like a style you can't really imitate, is how Dan described it. You could go look on his director's cut video and dive even deeper on the Transformers book that we're looking at today. But what about you, Ben? What do you got to say about this?
Oh, dude. So I have to say, I don't know who would win out in a stand competition, but I love watching Friday with D-Dubs anytime I can catch it. Recently, there's been a big focus on like Extremity, especially when he was doing the artist edition for that. But back when he was just in between gigs and starting to work on Transformers, there were some sneak peeks and things like that. And yeah, it was amazing to watch him just start with some rough sketch, and it's Daniel's process. Like he
Right.
is just able to find that one building line and create this entire piece from what seems like nothing. Just starting with the basics. That's what I think is what makes this so great. Is it's his passion, but he did not feel the obligation to like sit there and have to emulate anybody. It's still Dan's style.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, we'll get into that. You've got all the fun wrestling references that he loves to
There's
use.
so many suplexes
Just,
in this book.
oh,
As soon as Optimus Prime is
just
like
straight
put
up
into
with
the picture.
Transformers.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's great.
dude, it's just like what I think we all did with our Transformers back in the day, right? You just put the arm out, you swing the arm, and it's like, dude, if I could just make that into a drawing, it would be amazing. Just not as amazing as what Dan can do. So yeah, just watching him do that stuff, hearing some of his conversations. There was a spoiler that I actually heard about issue 2 before it even, I think, was officially finished. It was just last Heroes Con talking to Dan before the show started on a Friday or Saturday, and he was talking about working with Hasbro and just some of the conversations that they were having. And one of them was there's a big concern about the way that issue 2 starts, and we'll get into that.
Yeah.
And so making Optimus feel like a real protector, but to protect something, you have to know why you're doing it. And I think, that's a little piece of that only Dan can think of doing. And thankfully, Hasbro signed off on it. Everything went through. But just it sounds, this is a total Dan vision of a universe that he has loved his entire life. So I think it's fantastic. I mean, you brought up Ghost Fleet, Space Mullet. When you look at anything that Dan has done, he loves mechs. We talked about it with Murder Falcon, and when we got like the Gundam style samurai in the end, and just knowing how much fun it was drawing giant kaiju monsters. Now he gets to just draw giant robots fighting each other. And I was not expecting the big bad payoff at the end of this, which I absolutely loved. Thought he did an amazing job on, and some of the twists and turns I definitely want to get into. But yeah, I still have an issue with one character in this book, but it's just probably my own personality and a conflict with the way that the character is portrayed. But we can get into that as we start. So Kev, thoughts, and you want to get us started on just how everything gets into motion?
Yeah, man. I like this series a lot. I'm not gonna lie, it's probably, this is my controversial take. It's probably my least favorite thing Dan has done, but when everything that he's done is like my favorite thing ever made, and this is just not my favorite thing ever made, like that's the level it's on. Like it's an 8 out of 10 when everything else is like that he does is like an 11 out of 10 for me. You know what I mean? And I think it's just because he doesn't really stick the landing on this one, but it's because there's no landing to stick. You know, like
Yeah.
his end of the 6 issue run like has a good punch that we'll get into, but like because it's not that like catharsis of a full story that you get out of a great Daniel Warren Johnson comic, I was just left kind of being like, "No, okay. Like I want to read the next one, but yeah. What's up?"
Yeah.
You know. Also Brock's in the
That was
chat.
my
Love you, penis boy.
that was also my little gripe with it too. Was like, this isn't a full complete thing yet, so it's kind of hard to judge it. You know, especially it being like put into this volume format, and then the way it ends. I'm like, well, I know there's more, but damn it.
Well, and I think the one problem that may play into this too. I don't know what you guys think, and we can discuss this more as we get through it. But this is a shared universe that he's
Right.
working within.
Yeah.
Whereas normally he's playing with characters that are able to go on their own solo story. He's able to tell something beginning to end. And now we have this. It's not just a continuation or the beginning of a story that's going to continue. Um, it's sharing things like you said, Kev, where you've got Void Rivals that it's playing with. It's got Duke and it's got Cobra Commander that's all feeding into it. I mean, heck, even on Free Comic Book Day, if you were one of the lucky ones, or if you went out and bought that Energon one shot that kind of tied everything from the beginning of how this all started with the Transformer side to where they are now. I mean, I think that's another piece that I struggle with. If this was Dan playing with his universe, being able to tell something from beginning to end, it might be a different story. I don't know. Is this my favorite Daniel story? No, because that one's still tough. Do a power bomb hits everything for me. Murder Falcon's freaking
Right.
brilliant. Beginning to
Murder
Extremity.
Falcon.
I mean, oh my
Yeah,
gosh,
Dead Earth is
Extremity,
so
and we
good.
haven't covered that yet. But once we get to Extremity and his love for Hayao Miyazaki and everything that plays into that, I'm so
Dude.
ready to talk about that. Wonder Woman, Dead Earth. I mean, again, we start to look at how all these stories play. A Beta Ray Bill, which I think that one's probably on my low end. Again, topic for another day. But I think that's where this may suffer a little bit more from a storytelling perspective, is he has to be very careful about what he does with the characters while still doing something unique and fun.
Yeah. Which
Yeah.
I think he did a fantastic job with it being in a shared universe. Like, I definitely took that into consideration. Like, well, this isn't a solo thing, so I get it.
Yeah, not only that, it's an ongoing thing. Like, and I think
Yes.
as like for a like we've never really seen a full Daniel Warren Johnson ongoing. You know what I mean? Like Extremities 12 issues, but like aside from that, you know, not really. So like seeing him, this is about as good as Dan can probably get as an ongoing, to like be able to like hit big beats but not stick the consistent landing that his stories do so well. But having said all of that, like it has all the things that you love about Daniel Warren Johnson in here. It's super dynamic, super busy, great action sequences, great hand like lettered, like just goodness. It's got a lot of heart. There's family dynamics at play. Like it's all in here. It's just like, again, incomplete as we've kind of touched on already. But I'm excited to dig into this. You know, Energon is cool. It's weird to kind of get into stuff that is new and ongoing at the same time, because typically I'm a dirty trade waiter. So like seeing this all play out in real time has been interesting, because I think it's like a different approach to comics that I don't particularly follow often. Like I typically just either wait for trades or read standalones, stuff like that. But man, they
I'm
really,
still a trade horn. So.
yeah, man, you're still a dirty trade whore.
Yeah.
Brock just said, "Shun the trade waiter." Which, I mean, welcome to the actual weekly collector, Kev. I know it's probably been a while since you've done this, but Brock and I definitely, well, Brock is definitely the ruler of that to date, since I am only the weekly guy, so I'm kind of a poser at the moment.
Brock got
Still
all
buying
4
individual
covers.
issues, but individual issues, multiple covers. I think Brock just wants to open his own comic book store one day. So just like he bought all 4 covers of Creature. Brock, you are a madman. But yeah, I am a completionist to a point, especially if it's an artist that I really like.
Yeah.
So anytime Daniel does a cover on something, I want a copy. But with this, there are a couple I bought multiple copies of, but that was probably because Dan was doing the cover of it. Thankfully, the inside story is all the same. But what did you guys think about this opening where we kind of it's a 5-panel opening and it feels 80s to me. You've got the choppers
Oh
that
yeah.
look like they're
Yeah.
going
Apocalypse Now.
Yep,
Yep.
Apocalypse Now, the crashing of the space shuttle, some foreshadowing or maybe just some character building quickly for Sparky.
Was just gonna say
and
that.
Yeah.
yeah, and Optimus looking a little beat up, which we'll find out more later. And dude, the space shuttle launch, when I read through this, I kept trying to figure out like what happened with the space shuttle. I don't understand the space shuttle. And then during my reread and prep for this, I'm like, oh, that's
Yeah.
the
It's
significance of
because the way
space
they
shuttle.
referred to Spike's brother, which Danny, is that the name of the brother? Um, it's very like sounds like he went to war. Like I didn't
Right.
necessarily pick that
Right.
up that he was an astronaut until we get a panel of him as an astronaut somewhere in here. We'll find it. I don't remember exactly which issue. But man, yeah, like it. When I read this first issue, I was like, "Oh, Dan's doing his Dan thing." Like an immediate gut punch with like a shitty dad, of like alcoholic parents, like grief within the family, kids like lying to their parents about like, "Oh, I can't be myself around my dad," like hitting all those notes of like acceptance, self-acceptance, love, family. Like he's going right for it. Like he's pulling at the heartstrings immediately. Um, Takes it
And
in
I
some
do want
different
to say,
places.
with that van drawing too, I know Dan brought it up that perspective is real wonky considering where our main guy is and the van. But Dan was just like, I don't care. I want this van to fit and I want to show it off.
Dude, you have to. I love the old
Right.
D&D reference.
Yeah.
Definitely an 80s minivan, right?
Yeah.
Got the spoiler on the back.
Dude, yeah, it's got it all, man. But he wanted to also imply that this van is important, especially in issue 2, right?
Yes.
So
Yep.
he's showing it off, man, and also giving a little, dive into who this Carly person is, because this is her van and this is her skill.
Yeah.
She's a badass.
I love
like
Carly's
most
development.
female characters in Daniel Warren Johnson stories. Do not sleep on the female characters. They are always badasses.
Yeah. I feel like we get some really interesting development with Carly that we'll dig into as we go along, but it gets even darker and weirder beyond the 6 issues here. And so we may cover, volume 2 at some point. But Ben,
Okay.
if you know what I'm talking about in issues 7 and 8, what's going on with Carly, if you've read them.
Ooh, I've not read 7. I kind of kept that separate since we were only focusing on the first. So we'll have some discussion after this.
Jorge Corona is doing a great job. I'll just say that right now.
Awesome.
So, yeah. So much so that Dan was like, I want to keep working with this guy and do a creator-owned book with him. Like,
oh, heck yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
so very cool. Very cool. I love these 2 big splashes of the spaceship and all the Autobots piled, just all the Transformers, because I think there's some Decepticons in here too, just piled up.
It's a battle sequence in here, and on this page too with the spaceship, he had to add in a few more thrusters apparently because Hasbro, or is it Hasbro with
Yeah.
Transformers? Hasbro.
Yep.
Okay. So they looked at this page and he only had 3 thrusters on the design, and they're like, no, it's 6. add in the other 3, and he was like, "Oh man."
Is that on the first page too? Well, there's 5 on the first page, so maybe it's 5.
No, it's 6 on that one too because it's what?
There's 5.
5.
There's 5. Oh, okay, never mind. I don't know how to count. But yeah, he had to add in a few more thrusters, so I thought that was a fun thing. But he normally doesn't do digital edits, and he was like, "I did it for this one."
Yeah, there's definitely some. Brock said, "Y'all know, man, he can't count. Leave him alone."
Fuck you, Brock.
Manny's just real tired today. Just real tired.
No, I definitely heard about the push and pull in one of his interviews about this. He was saying basically like when he got to work, he was like, okay, I'm doing the 80s lineup. Like it's going to be, all an homage to the original like movie and cartoon. And they're like, so you're going to make up new Transformers, right? And he was like, like, and Skybound was like, no, like, we got you. It's like very important that he does it, like the old ones. And he's like, okay, cool. So, he said he would have walked off the project if they made him do new Transformers.
Right. Yeah.
I did think it was interesting. So I don't want to, say anything that's out of context or that could be hearsay. But I do know that, and I think he said this in a couple of interviews. He did have the most feedback. Like there are a lot of discussions between him and Hasbro, and just making sure that he was that Hasbro had a lot of comments and edits and things like that. So I do know that this was a very a lot of information and things Hasbro was giving to Dan, which is not all what he would get from most of his projects, especially like all of his creator owned books. They're just like, dude, this is amazing, you're amazing, and Dan's like, yeah, sure, whatever, just as long as you're good with it. And I know he's worked on the little small stuff, like he's done short stories for Darth Vader and Superman and things like that. And even in those, he said that all the edits were very minor, and typically it's because he's trying to get away with something, and they'll call him out on it. My favorite is his Darth Vader Red, White, and Black short that he did. There are a couple of things that were like a holy and expletive or whatever, and they're like, yeah, we need to blur that out or take that out. And those are typically the things that he gets called back on. This one seemed like Hasbro was like, well, we want to make sure it fits like new toy lines, or can you give us this, or don't do that because we don't want people to think badly about our characters. And he's just like, I don't think it's that bad. But
well, yeah, and that like brings up an interesting question too about like who is the demographic for this book and the Energon books in general, right? Because it is not kids who want to buy toys; it's adult men who want to buy toys.
That's exactly what it is. This is not a kid property. Dude, I absolutely love things like playing off of people's love, because I think the first transgression that I saw where I was like, holy crap, what are you doing that for? Because I think if anybody saw, they were putting out posters and it had the lineup of the Autobots and it had a lineup of Decepticons, and of course there's a red Bumblebee. Well, that's not Bumblebee, that's Cliff Jumper if you're a huge nerd of Transformers. And they're like, well, why isn't he using Bumblebee? Why isn't he using Bumblebee? And we get, once the Transformers start to get rejuvenated, right? We get Starscream.
Here he is dead on the corner.
Back. Now, of course, I thought that was fantastic. Number one, I thought, this is real weird. Why do you bring him back? And then Starscream just blasts a hole in Bumblebee's face. And I'm just like, holy crap. Well, there you go. How can you do that to everybody's beloved Bumblebee? And number one, that it is the classic 80s like Gen 1 Bumblebee, not this newly updated one. Like, we're going with the legit one. But dude, I absolutely love it. And Jetfire being that balance, like not understanding all this stuff that's gone on. He's been off world away, so he's not aware of all this tension between Autobots and Decepticons. And Starscream is still the biggest D-bag out of all the Decepticons, worse than Megatron. So what a great bad guy to start with, because he can just be crazy, homicidal, genocidal, whatever madman.
Yeah.
And
He's so good
not
in
only
this.
does it blast a hole in Bumblebee's face, but also puts one in Jetfire's stomach, which I thought was cool.
Yeah. Yeah. And that was another thing too with the Bumblebee talk is that I know Dan with the contact at Hasbro was talking with them and they were like, we don't want to have Bumblebee. We have had enough of Bumblebee. And then Dan was like, oh, I got a story for you.
Yeah, no problem. I mean, and
He's
it's
like, "I
also
got you
like
covered."
it's also an immediate like tug at the heartstrings because he's so immediately identifiable. Like even
Mhm.
there's like barely any mention of it except when Optimus like picks up his corpse and he's like my son or
Oh,
whatever
dude,
it is.
how heartbreaking is that?
Right.
But yeah, dude, Starscream is perfect in this whole volume of comics. He's petty, he's petulant, he's vindictive, he's fucking malicious, he's awful. Like, he's just so evil, and you love to hate him. Like, and he's just a perfect villain in that respect.
I love one line. It's later on, but I just when Carly's in the room and starts screaming, just like, what? What does that mean? Anyway, we'll keep
Yeah.
going.
Dude, here it is. You
Yeah,
know,
big
it's the
reveal.
whole- that
Big
there's the
reveal
big
for Optimus.
reveal.
Yeah.
Optimus grabbing the arm, the giant lariat. Oh, it's so good. And then if the lariat wasn't enough, give him a
Boom.
German suplex.
Another one. Immediately. Back to back. AEW. Let's go.
That's right. AEW. AEW. But I love it. Optimus immediately becomes the protector too for Carly and Spike, saying, "Hey, get behind me." You know, he is already the protector. He hasn't even found out exactly how fragile these new creatures are. He just knows they're small. They're not gonna, fare very well against giant
Yeah.
fire from Starscream. The one thing that I do know, he was not entirely thrilled with how some of this stuff worked out. So this giant kick, the boot that Ratchet gives to Starscream, he's just like, I don't know, it still feels a little wonky. And I'm like, dude, you're being too harsh. This is again just fantastic.
Yeah.
And I love we always definitely celebrate his onomatopoeia, but Katong, so good.
Yeah.
It's metal
Oh,
on
yeah.
metal.
The lasers firing. Bazow, 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 bazow.
Yes. So good.
Yeah, I mean, and he even like mentions too, like as he's working through these books, like both writing and drawing, like he's finding it. You know what I mean? Like he's figuring it out, and by issue 3, he's like full Dan. Like, you know.
Yeah, it usually takes a few
Bazow,
issues.
bazow, 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 bazow. Brock asked me if I can make the laser noises again. There's also some zwip, zwip, zwip.
Drag.
Again, we gotta let Kev handle our onomatopoeia. He is the go-to.
Oh, it's Manny too. We just, you know, it's our writing process. But this book's got so many good onomatopoeias. Like when we get into like the actual transforming noises, and it's like like,
So good.
and like yeah, there's just all this like clinks and clats and all this shit all over it.
Dude, I love I still it is the heart-wrenching moment. I know Daniel loves to try to make us weebs cry. So there's Optimus coming across Bumblebee with a hole in his face.
Oh yeah.
Oh no.
Bumblebee. No.
Yeah, does anyone read this without hearing Peter Cullen? You know?
No. It's
Nope.
all Peter Cullen. It's fantastic.
I can't do it without it, man.
Bumblebee.
Oh no.
And I hear like 80s cartoon Starscream as well as I'm like reading it as well. Look at this fool. It's just basically what's his name, Cobra Commander.
Yeah.
It's the same guy, I'm pretty sure. It was just 80s villain. Brock says, I hear Kermit the Frog. Oh, Bumblebee. Oh no.
It's not easy being green. Let's see, guys. Get the meat bags. Look at that fool mourning over the weakest of them all. Sorry, dude. The action sequence. I know we can't go over each and every one of this. We're still not even through the first issue, but I love even Optimus is in distress, and we really show that Spike and Carly can help make a difference, like pushing his blaster over. I love that entire sequence because you really it just feels like an action sequence out of an updated, cartoon. All the new stuff and how gorgeous the animation is. And after he gets the gun back, you see more Decepticons just being pulled back together.
Yeah,
And he's like,
it's awesome.
I gotta blast the thing that's putting it all together because we got to get out of here somehow. And that escape with that explosion behind him, I mean, that is just comic
Whoa.
book fanboy. That's the pinup. That's the
Dude.
money shot right
Yeah.
there.
Cool
That
guys
page.
don't look at explosions.
That's right.
Okay. No.
Yeah, that page is probably sold for over $1,000.
Dude. That's so good. And then he's transforming at the bottom, like he does mid-transformation. It's so sick.
Yeah, the wheels popping out of the leg there. That's
Yeah.
so fucking sweet. And like his
Can I
chest
tell
opening
you-
up.
I wish he would have. So, after the transformation, he turns the page sideways,
Yeah.
and I love
you
that
interact.
feeling. I love when it's done just out of the blue. My only wish is that he would have just
It
continued
went
it
down
for,
more. Yeah.
for a 2-page
Yeah.
spread. But I absolutely love that because it just not only does it give you the motion on the page, the act of turning the page just gives you that physical feel like, whoa, we're zooming through here.
Right.
We're
They
transforming
look
the book.
gorgeous. Yeah, bingo.
Ooh.
But- Not only do Optimus and Ratchet look fantastic as like full robot forms, he does vehicles so well.
Dude,
So
all
fun.
that warm up from Ghost Fleet and everything else that he has ever done.
Right.
I want that
Oh,
military book that he's got with all those vehicles, man. That's what I need.
That's a good resource.
Yeah.
Oh
Dude.
man.
So good.
Dude, the
The-
action sequences, the action lines with them going both different directions on that page.
Yeah.
Is so sick.
And the onomatopoeia, the scream like in
Yeah.
the back is so good.
Yeah.
Almost every panel has some ridiculous onomatopoeia, and it's so good.
Look at you. Yeah.
I love when he does the in tight stuff and he leaves a long panel break here. And I love
Yeah.
the close up on the faces and you just get the onomatopoeia that stretches across the background. Such a fantastic little touch. Helps you transition from one space to another to where he doesn't have to just draw the things falling down the page. It's like we can cut to what's going on inside the vehicle and then bam, they've landed on the ground. We're getting the heck out of here.
Get you out of here.
Anytime. You can get me out of here anytime. Man, the dog fights, like all the aircraft fights, which we'll get in more in issue 2, because issue
Yeah.
2 has one of the freaking coolest airplane fights, I think. Dog fights. Or maybe it's 3. I can't remember when we get.
No, that's issue 2 with Duke.
Yes. There you go. Yeah, I love that tie-in. I thought that was awesome.
We'll get to it. If you are just watching this for the first time and you don't know that Duke, the G.I. Joe comic, and Cobra Commander, and Void Rivals, and Transformers are all connected, what rock have you been fucking living under, okay? This shit was like news, like, and exciting, like, 6 months ago. Like, and it was awesome. And it's still very exciting to keep up with it. But, like, this should no longer be like a spoiler, and it should be a selling point to getting you onto these books. Because you're like, oh, they all interconnect. It's like watching fucking Marvel start. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like seeing the Avengers in different comic books, and then they become the Avengers, and you're just like coming in your pants. You're like, what? That's what this is, okay?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Noah said he'll do his damnedest to show up if we talk about Duke. We'll probably talk about Duke at some point.
Oh, dude, yeah. Noah, come hang out. Let's talk about Duke. Dude, that book was
Duke is so
amazing.
good. I'm so excited for Scarlet and Destro. I really am. Marco Ferrari doing the interiors on Scarlet.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That's gonna be tasty.
Ooh.
Yes, sir. He let me know what kind of tools he used too. Got it.
Oh man.
It's like, hey, yo, what you inking with, boy? And he was like, this. I was like, sick. Thank you.
But absolutely the nuts. I love the war story parallels. You know, Jetfire coming off of the heels of issue 1 of Void Rivals, landing on this planet, and being like, I failed my mission. Everything will die, and that Optimus's send off. It's like this constant loss and death that comes with war is like a reoccurring theme throughout this whole book, and like how awful war is, and it becomes a big thematic point between what's the father's name, the dad, and it's not Spike. Sparky and Optimus. Sparky's a perfect name because we'll get into the ending why that name is so perfect.
Yep, perfect.
These panels of Starscream are my absolute favorite. Like when they close up and you just get pure emotion on his face. Those are so good. He has some truly evil ones. I think the last panel is also one of his most evil. Yeah. Where he grabs Carly's dad and squishes him in his hand.
Squishy.
So squishy.
And can I
so pathetic.
I love in the letter to the editor's note on the single issue, you get his little drawing of Optimus. It's just the toy on his desk, just drawing it.
Yeah, and for all you dirty trade waiters, you're missing some great letters columns in all the Energon books. There's some really good stuff.
There's no back matter in this volume, friends. There's no back matter.
That sucks. Or there's not even variant cover galleries?
No, but there's, the Energon universe. Look, there's Duke, there's Cobra Commander. Oh my god.
Yeah,
I mean, also buy Invincible.
That's in the back. Yeah, that's in the back of this one.
There's no variant, there's no covers. What the fuck is this? So yeah, that's the only sad part.
So
about the volume.
One thing that Dan does really well, and I think this is just a symptom of a good ongoing book, is every book ends with a gut punch, and then every book every book ups the ante from the book that came before it, and I really love that in this series, because we get the oh shit moment of, hey, these guys are for realsies, the Decepticons, and this war is fucking on, and it's scary. But then we pull back from the scary with Optimus loving and appreciating the beauty of Earth and understanding why it must be protected. And this is probably my favorite moment in this entire series thus far. Brock alluded to it before with the deer in the chat, but man, Optimus, you got a bird, flowers, a frog on a log. What beauty! It's unbelievable. Crunch. And he fucking just crumples a deer, man. And him holding the deer in his hand, the way it's just melting between his fingers, what a painful, crazy moment.
Yeah.
And this, as I was referencing it earlier, when I talked to Dan last year at Heroes Con, this was the big fight for him when it came to getting notes from Hasbro. They didn't want Optimus to kill anything. You can't have Optimus kill something. He's a good guy. He does not kill. And this was the thing, that the big gut punch, as you pointed out, the big character moment. This gives Optimus every motivation from what happens from this point on. Originally, it's stop Starscream from killing just anything. And now it's, holy crap, these things are incredibly vulnerable and delicate. I must protect them. And so glad that he fought for it. So glad that he was able to keep this in the book, because this moment with a deer, it's Optimus and Bambi, and it means something so much for the rest of the book. Just sets the tone, in my opinion, more than the first issue. First issue is just, this is amazing, this is badass, look at how gorgeous this is, he's gonna kick Transformers' butt. And then this is the emotional gut punch. This is where I think everything comes in. We'll have other emotional moments later on. I don't know that anything kind of comes up to the same emotional equivalent as this did for me, but I thought this was fantastic.
I think it's also in part due to expectations, because you just leave this gruesome fight scene, and when you expect to start this book, you're like, what are we going to do now? And it's just oh no, that is not what I expected you were going to do in the first 3 pages of this issue. But This is my favorite line, like in this issue, maybe in the whole book. Where I am from, everything is metal. The ground doesn't sway when I walk. I don't leave marks where my feet tread. I should have known better. Like, that immediate empathy and understanding that Optimus has is like what makes him such a compelling character. And it's just like Dan just fucking nailed it. He knew exactly what he wanted, what he was supposed to be doing. He understood the assignment. You know what I mean?
And I do want to say too that there's like you get Starscream squishing, being super evil, and then he goes like, "Okay, we can kill everything here," and then immediately get the exact opposite when there's an accident, and he's like, "Oh, jeez, oh, my bad, dude."
And even Spike is like, "No, you're good. It was an accident," you know.
I saw it. Yeah.
I love that he writes Spike, I think, in like the every 80s boy voice. You know, Spike is definitely, I think, our character that we can connect with from the human side. But just when he's like, "So Optimus Prime, that's your name?"
Yeah,
correct. Damn, that sounds cool.
Yeah.
that was the way I was as a kid. I'm like, this guy's name is Optimus Prime. That's a freaking kick-ass name. So.
Then they talk about like parents and stuff. And like, what is that? I don't know what mom is.
Yeah. And really, like, this is like the only moment where we get to see Spike kind of be his true old self. We don't come back to this Spike ever again. And like, I don't really interpret that because it's like, when I'm thinking about Spike's character, these pages aren't the ones that come to mind. It's everything that comes later. And so like, it is kind of heartbreaking and devastating to see that kind of loss of innocence really like start to happen within the first arc of this book. It's rough. And I mean, the same happens to Carly. We'll get into that too. But yeah, it's tough.
And I love just once again something so simple, having these two characters sit and have this conversation, and you get to see the entire world, the
Cybertron,
the planet of Cybertron sitting right behind it, and it's just like you don't have to dive right onto the planet's surface, just showing this how little these two characters are in the grand scheme of things when you look at the size of a planet. God, I love that.
Oh, dude, and then you see the 70 thrusters on the spaceship on the other. I mean, the 5 thrusters on the spaceship.
Yeah, I think there's about 17. I had to make sure.
Yeah. Okay. There we go. Yeah. On model. Let's go.
On the
yeah. Who's got the toy? Is the toy out yet?
Dude.
Somebody's got to. Hasbro's got to be launching that stuff now. But if we didn't think that, bringing up a sore subject like Bumblebee and saying, "I'm sorry that your friend's gone," don't worry, the substitute's here. Cliff Jumper, he's Bumblebee, just only red instead of yellow. I'm just kidding. I think Cliff Jumper's fantastic. I think he did an amazing job with Cliff Jumper and giving Cliff Jumper the kind of the comedic role when it came to his interactions with Carly, and he gets to be the one that really goes through a lot of the transitions. Optimus is always going to be the protector. Dude, Cliff Jumper, with what happens to him, could easily have been like, forget these squishy little humans. They're assholes. Like, can't we just kill them?
Right.
Like, what a bunch of dicks.
Brock says Cliff Jumper is better than Bumblebee. That's his hot take.
Dude,
I don't think it's a hot take.
No.
I don't think that Bumblebee really has a personality, honestly.
What?
I mean, he did in the 80s cartoon, but...
Yeah. His personality was being an annoying dipshit.
So did you guys notice when they like hook up the generator and they're starting to get everything put back together in the little cavern or ravine, what Carly is drawing on the back of the van?
Right, yeah.
Dude, I love that.
Wait, what?
A little sketch of Optimus.
She's putting a little Optimus head on the back
corner
of the van.
Nice catch.
Yeah.
And then that's how Starscream finds them later on, right? Or
yeah.
What's the license plate say? Dragon Wagon?
The Dragon Wagon. Yeah. So good.
Noah said Bumblebee is like Mickey Mouse. You wouldn't remember him if he wasn't the mascot.
Dude,
I love that.
I had such a anytime there were the little guys in these shows, I definitely went to the little guys. So Cliffjumper and Bumblebee were the ones that I definitely were like, oh, they're not the main character. I'm not the main character as much as I think it'd be cool. But
Oh, I love the big assholes like Starscream.
no, well then you're gonna get one of the best scenes coming up here when they start to bring their energon converter to the power plant. And
Oh,
they
yeah.
scramble the local command scrambles the fighter jet. Oh, this is amazing.
Dude, that dude landing on that page, that's so fucking
Whoa.
sweet. That energy, those lines being squiggled. You see those little squiggled lines showing motion?
Yeah,
Don't
the
you just
sound
love it?
wave of ripples.
Don't you just love it?
I do
Yeah,
love
can I
it.
tell you, I try to do that when I plan it. And anytime like I plan it where I'm like, it's gotta be this, and I'm gonna try to ink over pencil lines. I'm like, just go with the energy. Like there's no planning this shit.
Yeah, there's not. This is part of the chaos.
Vibes only. I mean, and just watching him sketch, I know that like there's planning to what Dan does, but it's vibes purely. Like
Yeah.
that is really like his thing. He's just like, yeah, I'm just gonna put this over here and do that, and that's gonna look really good. And you're just like, what the fuck?
Hey man, 10,000 hours, and he's definitely put in his
Yeah.
10,000 hours. That's for sure.
When he does like 120 pages of each character, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, those sketchbooks, dude.
Yeah.
And I love that Duke's co-pilot's name is Frosting.
Dude, yeah. All good frosting. Turn and burn, baby.
Let's go
Oh,
find
man.
some bad guys.
Can I tell you, I just wanted to see more of this dogfight. Like we already know he does action just amazing, and for this to be cut short, I mean, it's great the way that Starscream just slaps them out of midair. But like, I want to see more. I want to see, not that he needs to do like a, oh damn it, what's the Tom Cruise
Top
movie?
Gun.
Top Gun. Not he needs to do a Top Gun, but dude, just give him some book where like the main character is a fighter jet pilot. Just let him go hog wild. So good.
This is something that he does in his onomatopoeias that I love, with his like O's in his like pow, zow, scrow, pshow, where he like makes the O huge and like overlap with the other letters. It just looks so good with this panel here. And then of course we get the on the next page the sound of a transforming. Check, 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 check.
And I love the giant just slap.
Yeah.
And allowing the slap to break the panel along with the jet breaking the panel, just showing like, yeah, this was massive. This is enough to send the fighter jet just tail spinning.
Right.
Got to eject. And I remember watching Dan ink this panel where Starscream squishes Frosting. And I was just like, what in the hell is this? Like, he had done nothing else on that page. It was just merely that splat. And, like, pulled out a transparency screen and started working with that splat onomatopoeia. Like, just trying to figure out what works and what doesn't. So, wasn't doing that right on the page at the first time. And was just playing. Oh, it was so cool. And then to see it on the page, I'm like, holy crap. That dude is deader than hell.
Dead as hell. This squish is so good. Splat.
Where do we get the? Oh, this is coming up. I was like, where do we get the reveal from?
Duke
the
reveal?
tag on Duke's vest. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Duke. Last panel on this page. One thing,
so-
and like these past few pages have like really reminded me. One thing that I like still blows my mind about Dan is like how much information he can kind of squeeze out of a panel and how many panels he can pack into a page without you really noticing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like in my head, if I'm like writing this out, like I'm like, there's no way I could fit this much information on one page like successfully. But like the way he does these like little insert panels and like chops things up really small, but then like still makes the big moments big. And so it all has that weight and it doesn't feel like, you know, like that page economy thing that we talk about. Like it's just, I don't know how he does it. It's so instinctive to him. I couldn't write to replicate that.
I mean, I think it helps that he's
drawing
he is
it.
the writer
Yeah.
and artist, right? Because he can be thinking about these moments all day and be like, boom, that's how it is, you know. So he gives that time to like animate sequences, show little tiny moments, and then expand on those bigger bits.
But as we alluded to before as well, Duke, for those of you who can't see, this is G.I. Joe in the plane. This is the first connection to the Duke universe. This is the moment that single-handedly kicks off the Duke comic. So we'll get into that at another day. But if you haven't read Duke, it's fucking awesome. Go read that book too. Manny, read that book and report back to me. I loaned you all my singles.
Oh,
You got
dude,
it sold.
Duke is fantastic. Tom Riley's art. I have to say that's the fantastic thing about these books. Like the writer artist duo, they're just perfect for it. They've done an amazing job getting those people all connected. So good.
They really like harness that 80s energy in a way that does not feel like nostalgia baity. You know, it's not like Stranger Thing where it's like, remember the 80s, guys? It's just literally the 80s. You know what I mean? Like it's just that energy, it's maximalism. There's no like over reference. It's not like, look, Van Halen's playing on the radio. Does anyone remember the 80s? Like big hair and shoulder pads?
You get that from the Duke series, but kind of like Born Identity tied into it, where it's a guy on the run from a secret agency and trying to go into hiding.
Duke is just Predator 2. Like that's the vibe I get from Duke.
Well, again, there you go. Great 80s movie.
Yeah, there you go. He's too old for this shit, man.
But again, and then pivoting back to the beautiful green Earth, I think is like a great contrast here. Seeing the Decepticon, and it's like, you know, we gotta go fight the Decepticons now. Fucking.
But I love it's the plane. Like the plane that Frosting and Duke abandon is what lands on the Decepticons, and just that transition. That you know, you've got Skywarp, look out. Skywarp turns over and is like, oh. And I love that the explosion. It's the explosion from the plane landing on top of Skywarp is what you transition over to the Autobots and the humans with. And like that's such a great little transition there from page to panel.
Ooh.
Great.
And this is where shit starts to get real. It's like the Decepticons, they're just going out there and fucking murdering people. And so we got to figure out a way to stop them. And you know, this scares the shit out of Sparky. He's like back in war mode. He goes to his old weapon chest and pulls out his M16 in his old army gear from Nam. And you know,
that's not said in the book too. That's even though it is.
Yeah. It is and it isn't. I mean, with the like the choppers in the very beginning and like the greens and like the allusions to it.
Yeah. But that was mentioned that like you can't mention the war. You have to be vague about it.
Just a war. Yeah. The mid transforming Optimus is a crazy page.
It's so awesome. That's one of my favorites.
Jack. That cracks me up.
Oh yeah, this of course. So Sparky is the character where I don't feel the most emotional weight. He is kind of the jerk, and for him to just drop on Carly at the end, there like, oh yeah, by the way, your dad's dead. So, okay, that like you said, Kev, that gut punch at the end. Then we just open right back up into the issue 3.
Well, because there's also no obvious. That's the reveal. That is actually Carly's dad, even though we saw him throughout the whole first issue. And then we get into issue 3, and the shit is on. Okay, the shit has hit the fan. We are balls deep in it. Man, I didn't even realize that Matthias Bergara and Nick Dragotta did variant covers for this issue. Wow.
I think I might have a couple. I always try to grab a few.
I don't even know which one I have. Looks vaguely Dan, but it might not be Dan.
I don't know. I need to look at your. Oh, that one?
Yeah.
Dude, that's totally Dan. Yeah.
Okay. There's no signatures on any of the covers. That's the thing that gets me so confused. I think I have all Dan covers. Yeah. I know that one for sure is a Dan cover for issue 5. Yeah, that one definitely is.
I tried to track down the Nick Dragotta. I could not find it. I think I have the Mateus one for this. So
What covers do you have, Brock? You slut.
Brock's got them all. I don't know what you're talking about.
He's got all covers. I don't know. There was like 12 covers for the first issue.
Yeah, it was insane.
It's crazy how many people they got doing the first issue. You had Dan, Ryan Otley, Cliff Chang, Ian Bertram. What are some other big names on here?
What kills me too, the covers listed on the inside of these issues are first printings. So if you're doing a first printing and you're looking at this list, this is just first printing covers. If they were doing second printings, they may have a whole other like 1 or 2 additional variants that they're doing on second printings.
Damn, dude. That
I'm
shit
pretty sure
got
the
me
first
when I was
issue.
younger, man. I bought like the same Ultimate Spider-Man issue 3 times. I had no idea. I was like, I don't know which one I have, but this is a different cover, so I got this one's got to be new. And I opened it, I was like, are you kidding me?
I have done that myself on multiple occasions. So
Yeah, I've done
I
that
can't
too.
say it.
Sneaky bastards.
Dirty
Dude,
bastards.
this fight with Laserbeak, I love seeing, like, typically the little cassettes when they're fighting the other Transformers, they're just small fries. But I love just how massive and how much of a threat it is to like an actual human.
Just fucking up a house.
Like it can do some damage, man.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that bit too, because usually when you see them in the cartoons and stuff, they're just like small little guys or whatever. But in this book, it's like, I think it'd kill you like fast.
But we have Cliffjumper coming in to save the day and being a complete badass, taking a shotgun blast to the face and just being fine.
Ow!
Sparky, you're such a piece of shit. God, I hate you.
Drunk asshole.
What a dick.
At the same time, I probably would do the same exact thing.
Yeah, I mean, don't listen to the girl. I mean, that's the one thing you can really tell.
You're drunk.
Yeah.
The good news is with this one, just because we're already at an hour of time, is that issue 3 is really just like issues 3 and 4 are mostly just fighting. Which is not to say that, that's a good or bad thing. It's a great thing. But
it is. It's an amazing thing.
Not a ton to dissect aside from just gushing over the art. We've got our first Buttas, which is one of my absolute favorite onomatopoeias.
Love it. And again, Cliffjumper, just think we may have gotten off on the wrong foot. Taking a bite guys around him, like just waste him.
Again?
But I do want to take a moment just if you thought like the squishing and everything was terrible, watching Skywarp like boot these people, it's just like I don't think he has enough room on the page to like put all the bone breaks and everything in there. But my favorite was when I was rereading it, Skywarp just backhanding like vehicles off the ground. Yeah. I thought were fantastic. It's like that's such a good touch. And then watching them the things just look like toys flying away.
Yeah, I love when they actually like create the sense of scale with Transformers and humans and just the way that people get fucking annihilated.
Yep. All to set up an even better 2-page splash.
This bottom of this page. What are you trying to do? Protect him? Cool. Just this sinister, evil little smile.
Is it guns charging up?
Boom.
Get away from them.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And then we get the mid-transform, or like, I guess 3/4 transformed Optimus with Spike hopping out. I love that little touch of Spike like hitting the ground with one foot. Again, even the characters, no matter how minor, they just come out so energetic.
Like
we were praising Stoko with this last week with his Godzilla book. I mean, I think Dan does it in just small ways, but when Skywarp hits the car in the building, like Dan's putting those details into those bricks, just the building just crumbling underneath these things.
Yeah, it's got to have that debris. Gotta
Yes.
have that debris.
And we
Well,
get
Brez,
more wrestling moves,
Yes,
which are
that
very
was so
important. We get the
good.
roundhouse kick to the head. We get the fucking fireman carry, like hoisting him over his head.
oh, it's Death Valley Driver, baby.
Yeah. Doesn't John Cena have a variety of that one? Isn't that the STFU?
Yeah, or the
Brock Lesnar has one too.
yeah. The only thing is, instead of John Cena, this will just show my wrestling nerdness. John Cena actually has them facing like face down.
Oh,
So
yeah.
when they land on their back, with their feet going the other way. This one has them facing up, which I think just lends for that action. So when it hits, like you can just see how contorted Skywarp's body is with his legs coming over his head and everything. Just so good. And
the sword, the axe, dude. The
the
fucking
laser axe.
Always have an axe, man. It's just
You always need an axe.
And the minor onomatopoeia of whatever crack, just
yeah,
some
it's definitely
otherworldly thing.
Kylo Ren shit right there.
Yeah, big time.
And this whole issue is just Dan like, nah, I'm just gonna have fucking balls to the wall fun just the whole time. Like you just read the energy coming off these pages. Oh,
You gotta have that, man. You gotta have a full issue of just nonstop craziness.
yeah.
Yeah, if you didn't think the humans were stupid enough, though, don't worry, they're gonna get real dumb real soon. God, Optimus's arm, and I'm like watching this, going, Optimus's arm is getting shredded. What in the heck is going on? I have no idea.
Dude. And then
Uh,
the epic moment.
Well, before that, you get the sad
yeah,
moment, which
before
even
that.
this one, I don't know. How did this feel with Spike getting caught with friendly fire to you guys?
Yeah.
I don't
just like, oh shit.
Yeah, it felt like forced at times, but it's like times meaning when I read it, but like I view it as kind of necessary for the story because like the story is fundamentally about casualties of war, and even when you're when you think you're doing the right thing, you're gonna hurt the people closest to you.
Yeah.
And
then he literally hurts his
son. Like the one thing that he tried to keep away from his son as much as possible, like the war, soldiers, this whole life. I think he even mentions that in one of the later issues, talking to Optimus about how war devastates, and like this is that. All he wanted to do was keep Spike out of this, and Spike gets caught in the crossfire anyway, because that's what war does. War never changes.
War never changes.
I do agree. Like this one to me just felt, like you said, a little forced. I do think there's a parallel to just Sparky. It was the emotional, distance, or that just, let's not talk about your brother. I told you never to talk about your brother. So you already saw that emotional damage. Now we're gonna add physical to that. Because what I thought was, I figured, oh well, we'll leave it to one of the Decepticons to harm Spike, but it's like, no, like literally this is friendly fire because Sparky doesn't listen to anybody else. He knows the best thing to go forward. But I do like the little added touch of Skywarp, just that little finger flick. Like, yep, I'll take this little guy, put him out of his misery, and that's what leads to. Oh, dude, this is the build up, the big build.
Yeah, you're kind of played with this planet enough, and then the close up with the crack.
That is metal.
Yeah. So awesome.
Ripping off his arm as a weapon. Strip.
Sweet.
And remind me, you guys, we talked about this. Who is it that actually has this original piece?
Oh,
I think we've seen it posted on social media. I'm trying to remember.
Oh, David Show.
Name. Yeah.
Oh,
David Cho bought this 2-page spread.
Of course they do. And fucking Dan put Pizza Man in Do a Power Bomb.
Yeah, in the crowd. Yeah.
In the crowd and in the interiors, like fighter. Great.
Yeah, just beating the shit out of Skywarp with his arm is so good. Just the repeated boom, boom, boom. Like, it just feels good. Vindictive. But then this parallel between Sparky or Spike and the deer,
And the
fucking heartbreaking,
they're
brutal.
so fragile. And they pick them up.
Don't touch my son. Give me back my son.
I was hoping the Optimus would be like, you did this to your son. Goodbye, you're a terrible father.
Oh man.
But yeah,
But
him
instead,
sticking him in the cab as he's transforming is so fucking cool, dude.
yeah.
Those
Look
like
at
the
that.
coolest parts. Those are like the best parts in the movies too. When the Transformers are like, "Wah!" And then fucking you see Shia LaBeouf just like, and then he goes into the seat. You know?
Can I say, like, as much as now this makes me want to have like a Transformer figure of Optimus, I would love to have like a battle damaged one.
Yeah.
Just
Yep.
so he looks so freaking cool, battle damaged.
Let's do it.
So
Let's
awesome.
make it.
Big time.
Nah.
And this is issue 4 is very much feels like our one of our kind of Empire Strikes Back issues where it's just tragedy and loss and everything going horribly, horribly wrong.
That's so good.
Yeah.
And I love that lettering though on the like when the truck
As
is
he's
just
rounding
going
the bend.
and yeah. I love that 3D fucking lettering. Awesome.
Well, dude, everything on that, just the way he's got Optimus turning and the cab is just squished a little bit with the back end coming around and the guardrail just that nice
the skewed
cylindrical spin
perspective.
to it.
Yeah.
I love it. So good.
And just the little touches of yellow in the background to point out like there's a city back there, but you don't draw any buildings. It's just like
Just the lights.
you get it.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And the lighting on this when
The headlights
Starscream
coming off.
lands,
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. That is so freaking sick.
so menacing, man. That's like a horror movie. And then you get
Ow.
Carly coming in here. Woo!
How much
Get
does
his
Carly
ass.
look like any heroine from like a manga right there? I love the close up on the eyes. Knowing that it's at nighttime, he gets to play with those real dark shadows. So freaking
I feel
cool.
like he's probably pulling right from like a manga with that close up. I mean,
Like Fist
this
of the North
grouchy teeth
Star.
and stuff.
which
Yeah,
we know
that's what I get the feel for.
Yeah.
It's great.
Just sweeping the legs out. Not like a full on collision, just enough. And then crunching over top of him. That's so good. This is like it's panels like these that are just like this is a kid playing with his toys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and then he goes, "Blah," and there's a crunch and blah, just sit like. That's what I imagine his artistic process is. He just got all of his toys out and he's just smashing them together.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you think he's coming up with the onomatopoeia too? When they come up to the hospital and it's chicho chir chir chir, zap 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 zap, boom, chom chom, zack 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 zack, pew pew pew.
Yeah, it's a kid playing with his toys, dude.
We're like, oh my god.
The fact that the doctors are like, let's just get to work, like as if there aren't like robots the size of buildings fighting outside the window, is like crazy. To me.
No, we've seen this before. This happens all the time.
I need 50
It's not
cc's
like
of this.
Netflix.
Oh
man.
Dude, the POW with the coloring going on in it too. The little offset. That's
Exquisite,
nice.
exquisite.
Dude, yeah.
Well, this may I'm trying to remember where the Farmingham reference comes from, if that's where he's currently from or what significance that plays. But just the shots of Starscream, like you were calling out earlier, Kev, loving how those tight close-ups on him. But that after he just took tires to the face, Like you get that tire tread coming across his face and him just maniacally smiling, like, "Oh, you fixed the squishy ones here. We'll take care of that." Oh, so good.
Calling humans the squishy ones is funny. By blasting the place that can save your precious humans. And this got me. Like the whole building blows up, and the doctors are like, "We lost power." Your reaction wouldn't be ah.
Right.
I was gonna say, who's all with us in the chat? Because I want to say, I know we've talked about some of the Transformers in here, but this is where I started to do the fist pump, like legit, as I was reading the issue. Jazz has always been my favorite Transformer.
Jazz is sick.
So having Jazz show up, and I never knew like what kind of gun he had as a kid. It was just some kind of gun that they gave him. But for Dan to give him a pump action shotgun, like holy shit, this thing is fantastic. Walking up, just blasting Starscream in the shoulder. I mean, his entrance is just gorgeous. I love that diagonal across the panel, close up on the reaction, skidding right into battle. Oh my gosh. Then the transformation.
Yeah. Oh.
Dude. Gorgeous. Gorgeous. Oh,
Yeah.
and that is a Ray Phoenix that is a cutter from Ray Phoenix, that move that Jazz does. Yeah.
What's
Dude,
what's the 251?
I don't know if that's the area code. That I don't know what that significance is. I'll have to ask him.
251.
I was kind of wondering that myself.
Let me look it up.
I do know that Birmingham is definitely a place that Dan is from.
Okay. I couldn't remember if that was the area or not. I didn't want to out him either. If somebody wanted to find it, they could. If they hit the cafeteria, I'm starving. But like, I don't know. Brock, Noah, if you're in the chat, dude, what's your favorite Transformer? Because like this brought all the feels. So I was wondering where everybody else was getting the feels at. And seeing them all standing over the hospital room, just knowing that all these explosions have happened just so Dan can get this shot of them being able to see like
this is one of my favorite pages.
Operating on Spike.
Dude. It's awesome.
Well
done.
Exquisite. Honestly, I think one of my favorite Transformers is RC because she's the most fuckable. Why'd they give her titties? You know what I'm saying?
Because she's a girl robot. I don't know. How else are you gonna know she's a girl?
We'll also make her pink.
No, that's true. Noah doesn't know.
It's actually going to be good not say anything about how breedable RC is. This DJ doesn't said. Kev, you're going to start another green M&M situation. Look, call me old-fashioned, but M&Ms are supposed to be submissive and breedable, okay?
Why do you think they're multiple in a bag? It's not like they start that way.
Yeah.
They put 2 in a bag and they populate while they're in transit. So.
That's it. That's how it happens.
That's why each bag is inconsistent as to the exact number. But just like dogs, you're guaranteed a specific range.
Look, I'm just saying. Maybe more Transformers should have tits. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, Optimus giving the life force is amazing. Yeah, the Allspark powering up the hospital. It's beautiful.
Dude, the colors on this situation going on, nailed it.
Also, it's got one of the best lines in the book. Thank God, dude. Not God. Thank metal.
Yeah.
I was like, yes.
Hell yeah. Thank metal for the Transformers. Till all are one.
I could just imagine Murder Falcon going, yeah. Next, beer.
I love the cannibalism. Apparently, if you're a Decepticon, you
Oh,
can
yeah.
cannibalizing parts from another Autobot or another Transformer is okay. That scene was awesome and completely unexpected.
Yeah, kind of
Yeah.
unnecessary, but in the best way. Like, just,
Yeah.
guys, what are you doing, brothers?
Brothers? No, stop.
Thank God you rescued me. Oh no!
Fuck you. And then another
I do like
transformation
these little human
sequence.
moments, dude.
Yeah, man. You turn into a truck? Oh, that's awesome. That's so cool.
And he
And
turns
then when
back and he's like, oh my God, he turned back.
I love that little bubble off to the side. It's like the kid's still standing there the whole time this is going on. So good.
Now what is up? It's up to the great spark. You mean gods? True, small, but still mighty.
Yeah.
And then,
Although this is where the heart-wrenching moment comes in for me, dude. We only get Jazz for a little bit, for now. And then he goes down, not enough energy. And I love, Jazz says the thing that I was thinking immediately. Only here for one tune? That sucks. Like, I think I'd use a few more expletives, but I understand.
they are worth saving, Ratchet. Everything is.
Ooh.
Do it in the voice. Do it in the voice.
They are worth saving, Ratchet. Everything is.
So good.
That's. Oh, look, I'm not Peter Cullen, okay? Oh, that's right. Rock said, do Kermit. They are worth saving, Ratchet. Everything is.
Yes, that's correct.
I can't tell if I'm doing Kermit the Frog or Jordan Peterson.
Probably a little bit of both, but it's okay. Don't worry about it.
I always like making Kermit dirty. Dirty Kermit.
Miss Piggy.
Come on. Play with the old lily pad. You want to? Just go ahead. Just slap it around a little bit. That's all right.
Let's try 2 fingers tonight.
Quick, grab the brush handle. It's okay.
And with that, we go to this wonderful little character building moment between Cliff Jumper and Carly, and the fact that, dealing with loss is never easy. So, losing a family is terrible. And then, oh my God, Optimus has got a freaking kick-ass upgrade, dude.
Yep.
Yeah.
Upgraded.
How do you feel about going on the offensive?
How do you feel about going on the offensive?
How do you feel about going on the offensive?
Yeah, come on. Let's go kick some ass, guys. You know you want to.
Metal. That's the most metal shit I've ever heard.
Yeah. And I love the victory. I am the Decepticon leader today, tomorrow. And it zooms in, forever. And this actually was the first issue. Like, this issue had just come out when we were at Acme, Ben, at the Lawndale location. And Jermaine was like, what the hell are you doing? Why aren't you reading Transformers? Because I was like, oh, I got the first issue. I got some, I got a good cover, and now I'm just waiting for the trade. And he was like, don't wait for the trade. Get this now. Read this now. Issue 4, there's something that goes absolutely crazy. No, I picked it up off the rack and started flipping through it, and I went, oh.
Yeah, I can't. I'm pretty sure I was telling you gotta read it, but Jermaine did also sell you on Void Rivals, which I managed to duck out of that room while he was trying to do that. So
it's fine. There was only one copy of each one, or like it was like issue 5 or 6 that was missing off the rack, and I was like, "Do you have one?" And he's like, "I have one," and I was like, "Yeah."
That is
A load
true.
of
That's how I was
retail
able to
would make
avoid
Evan
it ultimately.
Yeah,
D&D worthy.
I bought every single of the Energon universe that day up until that point. And then I
So
went home and
here's
read them all.
Here's my problem with the continuity here, because I'm assuming that that last shot is Megatron's body,
It is.
right? Which is from what, like the chest down, right?
Let me pull it up again. There's his head hanging off.
Oh, his head's hanging off.
That's what I see that
You know,
as.
the splash page.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
if it's his whole top half, then I guess that makes more sense. Which is why it ties nicely into Cobra Commander. I guess that is his head hanging sideways. I don't know what the hell I thought that was. Thought it was a shoulder pauldron or something like that. Oh, I get it now. Never mind.
You get a little nose and lip action, you know. A little
I see that
profile.
now. I'm retarded. So I was like, wait a minute. Why is there so much more of his body here in Cobra Commander?
Oh yeah, because that's like way after, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
way before. Cobra Commander
Right.
takes place at a weird place in the continuity. I don't think it's supposed to take place at the exact same time as this book. Like Duke takes place right at the same time, but Cobra Commander I think is almost like a prequel to. I don't know.
I don't either.
It works
It's a weird-
regardless. It doesn't matter
Yeah.
where it is in the continuity. It's sick.
Man, 4 issues in. Only got 2 more to go, boys. We're not too far off pace.
Yeah, only an hour and a half
Especially
into
now
this.
that he's got the upgraded Megatron arm.
Dude, James Stocco did a variant cover of
Dude,
issue
of
5.
course.
Do you have it?
Hell yeah. I'll check. Maybe.
I want to see
I
that.
think
Who's
I've
got the James Stocco variant? Brock, you got it?
Brock,
You coward.
Yep. Go buy it now. What are you waiting for? Jesus.
And then
Always waiting on
said
Brock for something.
IDK. Well, how do you not know? You just buying shit without knowing what it is? I literally don't know what I have anymore. You should be keeping an inventory, okay? You should have a database. You should have some spreadsheets. Maybe some automated dashboards. Can you code in SQL?
Python. Code in Python. Don't do SQL.
Don't you see?
I have short boxes full of comics I don't have time to read. I've been trying to be better about this. I'm trying to read the things I buy. It's been difficult to keep up, especially when I keep buying more comics every time I go to the store.
Dude, that stack has not changed aside from just gotten bigger since the last time that I showed you guys all the unread books.
I would rather suck the gravel out of your asshole through a crazy straw than make spreadsheets.
And that's why you are where you are, Brock. I mean, sucking gravel through a straw. I think there's a limited want for that, but making spreadsheets, I don't know.
I don't know, man.
I don't know. Some people might pay top dollar for that.
All I'm saying is that, my asshole gravel is pretty nice. So, your loss.
Anyway,
If
so
anything,
Transformers-
it filters the rest. So, yeah.
I
sorry,
eat gravel and shit pearls.
God.
That's what it sounds like when it comes out. One of these.
It's Brock. It's all Brock's fault. I blame it
Damn
on
it,
Brock.
Brock.
That's not how that works.
You
That's
don't,
what Brock said.
you don't know what kind of clams I got working in my intestines.
What?
How do you think pearls are made, Brock?
Oh, God. Stop it. This is too good.
Okay, I'm reporting this stream.
How can Brock report it? He's responsible for it.
Yeah, Brock, you're the initiator. In hockey, you'd get the instigator penalty.
Oh my God.
The stream's just too hot. All right.
Too hot for Twitch.
Guys, we just got to be in a hot tub. That's what we got.
Yeah, we should be streaming in hot tubs,
Hot tub
actually.
streams. Oh Lord. Okay. So the one thing I have to say that I don't like about the start of issue 5 is we're trying to draw parallels between Optimus and And Sparky here. I just think Optimus is the better of the two, which is, maybe debatable by the end of this issue. I still think Sparky is a piece of crap and deserves what he gets.
Oh my god.
Damn.
Hot take.
Ben's got daddy issues.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I thought of
Yeah.
that as like they have the same experience, basically.
Yeah, it's the two
Right.
parallels between their war stories.
I
That's-
know.
Yeah.
Shows they're willing to fight the good fight and make sacrifices when they need to make a sacrifice. I get all that.
Some shit. He's seen some shit.
You want a war? I'll give you a
Give a
war you
war
won't
you
believe. Adrian.
Oh man, I do like the inclusion of Frenzy and Reflector in this issue, just so they can get wrecked later on.
Wrecked.
Brock says Ben is right. I'm assuming you mean Ben is right about Sparky being an asshole. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't necessarily think. I mean, he's a bad dad, but you know what I mean? Like,
Bad dad shoots his kid. I mean, whatever,
God, a man can't shoot his kid in this country without being indicted. I thought this was America. I thought
And
this
then
was
he's
the
all
land of the
butthurt,
free.
like my kid got shot.
It
How
was
dare you
one
shoot my
bullet.
kid?" Even though it was my
One
bullet, but whatever.
Not dead. He's
You notice-
fine.
What do you think they
You
got
notice he
doctors
never
for?
waited Yeah, he never waited for police to show up and do the forensics to see whose bullet that gun came from. Anyway. Here we go. This is where you get RC. This is where you get your hottie toddy coming in.
Hell yeah.
Hotness monster.
Yeah.
The punt. the robo dog.
Oh yeah, the punt is great. I do love that onomatopoeia.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Now we finally they put tits in this book. It took so long, dude. 4 issues? No tits. Come on.
Dude, but Carly's got him.
She's wearing a big sweater. Okay.
Because she is a badass. You can't go out there and what's her nuts from the Transformers movie, Megan
Fox.
Yeah, you can't. It just is not realistic running around in a little halter top trying to keep things in while you're fighting Transformers. That movie was so unrealistic.
Yeah, I know. There was a girl who knew how to work on cars in that movie.
Yeah, never happens.
The stuff about giant transforming robots. That's a documentary,
Real.
actually.
That's right.
That's
Based on a true story.
inspired by real events.
Yeah.
But Megan Fox
I
liking
think-
Shia LaBeouf, that fucking dork, get out of here,
Dude, again, it's just a complete work of fiction. It would never happen.
Well, he had the sweet car that turned into a robot.
That's true.
So I mean, come on.
Oh, Ratchet.
Oh, Ratchet. That's your competition right there, Kev. You gotta apparently be as ratchet as possible. I don't know.
Oh God.
I saw a spark
just-
between RC and Ratchet, so
I'm just at a car dealership and I'm like, and which of these has tits?
I want them on the gear shift. I don't know.
Are
Either on the
these
steering wheel,
of the
gear
transforming variety? And if they transform, do they have tits? Can I get the tits if I pay extra? Which of these minivans does anal?
shift.
Brock.
Oh my God.
It's the Honda
Nah, I did
Odyssey.
not do that, Manny. That's not my fault. Again, I did not help Kev go there. It's not my fault. Oh, that was Brock again.
Yeah, that was Brock.
Oh. Do we need a safe word in this stream now? Is it?
Look, I marked that this stream is not for kids. Okay, we can say whatever we want. It's
Always, bro.
It's always Brock. Brock, literally, I want you to take this to the heart, okay? Never change.
Never.
Yeah.
Till all are one.
Oh, dude.
And top dollar.
I like-
better not change.
I like stared at this page for a good 5 minutes the first time I read this issue. I love
Yeah.
this shot of the rocket just fucking utterly obliterating Reflector.
And that,
Oh, dude.
And then
Color
catching,
palette.
yeah. And then him catching the fucking Decepticon and just wham.
Frenzy.
Oh.
Yeah. The two they brought back, Reflector and Frenzy. Like, Reflector just gets shotgun blast, and then Frenzy eats the freaking side of the bridge. I
Yeah.
love that, like, top jaw just clamped down on the top and that bottom jaw hanging underneath. It's just like, I guess that's a
Ooh.
Transformer version of a curb stomp. I don't know.
Yeah. Fuck him up. Sick.
That's some Tranmore shit, but Transformers style.
Yeah.
And then this amazing heroic moment with RC. Carly falls off the side of the dam, and RC just wheels down the
Yeah.
side. Ooh. Ooh. Ooh.
Yeah,
So
this
good.
was one of my favorite sequences right here with the, and then just fucking gets her in the car, just that easy.
Dude.
Mm.
I love seeing all the gunfire and everything. I mean, my buddy comes back, Jazz is there. Oh, you think you're gonna take out old Cliff Jumper from behind? I don't think so. Shotgun to the face.
Dead. Stupid.
Ka-chow.
Yeah, dude. Back to back, firing their guns. Ba, ba, ba.
Oh, so good.
Mm.
Dude, the colors, man. Mike Spicer just fucking going at it.
Yeah, one thing that I love is and this made RC's entrance so hardcore and memorable. I know it made me hard, Brock. No, I love that. Like Dan handed him.
I mean, you do get Carly crotch shot, and then RC's door opening. Is that technically like a crotch shot, like her?
I mean,
opening it?
me personally, human women, they don't do it for me. But cars with tits, now we're talking.
Everyone's got a type.
Did you ever see the My Strange Addiction episode where the guy's like in love with his car?
Oh, yeah.
No.
That shit rocks.
No.
he's like he even makes love to his car, and it's just him like kissing his like little
No,
Mazda
no, no.
Miata or whatever the fuck it is.
Oh, fuck. That's crazy.
Oh, that already speaks to the kind of man he is. He only loves a little car. He can't handle like a big F-150 or F-250.
Okay,
It's
hold
too
on
much
now.
fun.
Hold on. Okay.
Little Mazda Miata.
All sedans are girls and all trucks are boys.
I don't believe. I mean, never mind. That gets us into a whole other discussion. Never mind. We'll table
Subarus are non-binary. Anything with a hatchback that is gender fluid.
that. Gotcha. All right. So we find out more about the other son, the son that blew up in the space shuttle. When we get the little hug, Jimmy's down there before stuff turns sideways, and dude, when the freaking Constructicons come in, seeing that dump truck just freaking wreck Optimus, so good.
Get wrecked.
Yes.
You know, the sun that blew up.
Yeah, heavy metal. Yeah, the Destructicons got me pretty juiced up when I was reading this issue. That is some really cool shit. That is ultimate toy fantasy. Devastator.
What a great ending page, dude.
Yeah. The size of that
So
hand.
good.
Dude, the way that Optimus is all messed up too is sick. Oh,
Yeah, the arm is crumpled.
yeah.
He's battle worn.
Giant cannon on the other side. Fucking
He's
sick.
been in the mix for quite a while.
Again, and like how the
Done.
like I mentioned before, the stakes just keep raising more and more. We get more Decepticons and Autobots each issue. The fights get bigger, the losses become crazier, and then fucking we get Devastator. You know what I mean? Like,
Done.
what a great way to kind of get us just to the edge. You know, the way that Dan has been edging us for 5 whole issues. Like, what's been going on? We
Yeah.
move to the real gut punch, harder than Kevin in a junkyard full of Honda Civics.
Hey, as long as the Civics are the sedans, just don't give them a coupe.
Not do it.
The Japanese build them to last.
Oh no.
He wants love for a long time.
Modular design. Yeah. Don't worry, Dad. Nothing bad's gonna happen. You know, it's a two-pronged joke because it implies you're a necrophiliac with an Asian fetish. Brock, you really know how to rev my engines. You know what I'm talking about, bud?
I was gonna say, are cars dead? Where's the necrophiliac thing come in?
I prefer when they're running hot. You know what I mean? I want a little
That's
bit
right.
of that. I want to have that oil and gas kind of sputter out of the exhaust pipe.
There's nothing
Burn
worse
me.
than getting into a cold car.
Oh. What?
Devastator. The Devastator fight is going absolutely crazy.
I'm trying not to pay attention to Brock. We're so close. And he's just-
We're all just so
no,
close, bro.
no,
Come on.
Brock, the boobs are on the Transformers. It's not one boob, it's boobs. And they have to be on a lady robot. That's what Kev likes.
That's right. Look, we've all got our thing, okay? Cars with tits is mine.
Dude, can I just tell you, I love the fact that Devastator is just like a giant Neanderthal.
Right.
Grabbing Optimus. Freaking crack Starscream with Optimus.
Ooh. Yeah, just fucking whamming around. This shit was brutal. That actually made me wince. Like Optimus's face dragging across the side of that thing.
Yeah.
Mm.
That was awesome.
Oh, so cool. Again, he's done it so many times in the book, but the way that he does those like fisheye lenses, the weird force kind of perspective, motion blur and speed lines, it just sells the action. It's so good.
Yeah.
And they're all like, get inside and running away.
Makes me wish I was that cool. Damn.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Damn.
Good shit. Good shit. The shit just gets scary. It gets real. Yeah, the door closing on him is crazy.
Oh, but I love the fact that the door closes and Devastator has his leg, has like Ratchet's leg in his hand. I just wanted him to eat it. Just eat the leg. Devastator will dig. Devastator will destroy.
Oh, this part. It was. You killed my dad. Wait, what is dad?
And, you know, getting that distraction. I don't fully understand how Carly actually is able to pick up this gun, because I don't know if you notice, the gun is laying on its side here in this panel.
Yes.
And then she runs to the gun. We cut away. Again, using your A and B plots kind of through the fight is great. You know, the death of Optimus looming. And this is like terrifying. He takes out the Allspark, throws it doing.
I love the twitchy hand.
And then it's just kind of like, we don't get a ton of Sparky in this issue, so maybe this is kind of why the pacing and the feels weird and the landing doesn't feel as firmly stuck when we get to this moment, because it's just kind of like Sparky's like, you know what, I'm a piece of shit. Maybe I can redeem myself, which is always kind of like a cop-out You know, like I'm just gonna sacrifice myself to save everybody else. Like it is something that always sits weird with me in like books
Yeah.
because it is kind of like selfish bullshit at times.
Yeah.
But that's not to say that like this isn't effective because it does actually give Sparky like some sort of purpose instead of just being a shitty dad the whole time.
Well, so I mean, I don't know what your thoughts are, but I feel like in the bar, just a real simple rewrite of like, oh, I would love to go with you, but I got to go to work. I don't love work, but I love you. And that's why he's drinking is because work sucks, not because like, everything else, which would make the line of Sparky here going, I know you're going to care for this world like I care for my boys. I'm like, you really kind of treated Spike like he was worthless until he got shot, which was kind of your fault, and then you cared about him. So I don't really like to your the emotional weight is kind of tough.
But I mean, you
Uh-huh.
can't be like a veteran with PTSD and a down and out alcoholic and also be a dad who like cares. You know what I mean? Like that after a certain point, those personality traits have to be a bit incompatible, right?
Some might think they care. So there's
I guess
that.
get it right. He thinks he cares.
But like, you know, you only have so much time and space, so giving him the room to like say one thing and do another, I guess, just like wasn't economic and like viable in this. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
I don't know. That's not to say that like Dan doesn't write really good, either caring or shitty parents in his stories. You know, Extremity
He
and
loves too much.
yeah, Dear Pal
God.
Brown. But you know, we
That
get
is
Where's
true.
the drama,
Noah,
Dan?
the dad did say he was sorry. After his kid was shot and in a coma in a hospital, he did say he was sorry.
tell my son I'm proud of him and give me back my son.
He's been
Sorry.
taken. He's been taken. I have a unique set of skills. It's sacrificing myself to the Allspark.
Sparky.
But this is we
Full
get
on
to
nose, isn't it? It is just kind of that funny, like, oh, Sparky, he went into the Allspark. He brought it all back. Thanks, Spark.
yeah. I will protect the whole Earth, starting with this green demon, and he's like supercharged Optimus and just rips this fucker's arm off or finger. That's what it is. Rips the finger off.
Dang.
Glorious, and we get the hyped up, and then the best
Hey, what I have
onomatopoeia
to say is that
in the
line is
book.
very out of place if you were to have the Kermit the Frog voice. Because as Kermit knows, it's not easy being green. So, calling somebody a green demon.
Starting with this green demon.
But fucking the "aw yeah" with the 3D, and then the fucking the song onomatopoeia. Which for me, that is "You Got the Touch," right? That is
You got the power.
okay. I just wanted to make
Yeah.
sure I was going with the right song there
That's
because
definitely it. I mean, because he talks about it in the off-panel interview, where he's just like, "Oh, I love that Transformers movie," and it's got that song. And they're both talking about the song, right? So it's
Yeah.
got to be that.
You
Especially
got
like
the
the colors and
touch.
stuff too. He was like, "Mike, I need this
You
to
got
look
the
like."
power.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there it is.
I love Ben's lighting effects.
Right. Professional.
The iPad
Thanks.
camera default effects. And then of
Don't
course,
give it too
okay,
hard.
so here's Carly making it standing up the gun. I don't know how she's
pushing it up.
carrying it. What?
She's a bitch.
And Cliffjumper's like, no, I'm
Cliffjumper
gonna
is
kill
not a
this
killer.
dude.
He's not a killer though, dude. He's not a killer.
And this is
Can't
gonna
do
be
it.
a moment that like informs Carly's character growth through the rest of this series so far, 7 and 8. Carly's like,
Ooh.
I'm out for blood. Like, I want to fucking kill
Yeah.
Decepticons. Like, I hate these motherfuckers. And they're like, no, Carly, that is not the way. And like, it's interesting, the development. I'm curious to hear what you all will think of issues 7 and 8 so far. Anybody in the chat read 7 and 8? Brock? Noah?
Brock doesn't read. He just looks at the pretty pictures.
Brock can't read. It's not his fault.
Well, hey, yeah, come on, guys.
Well, 7 and 8
don't have
are
it
great.
past 6 either.
Um,
True, I'm illiterate. Jesus.
Tips is Fedora. um,
I love you, Brock.
and,
Never change.
fucking Devastator's such a stupid idiot. Just falls for Optimus's trap, goes running after him off the cliff, and then he just fucking yoink, throws him right over his shoulder.
Screonk.
It's a cowboy hat. That's what you think. Keep telling yourself that, bud.
Dude, I love that screonk. Just
Yeah.
the sound of construction equipment just falling off a high rise or something.
Let her go.
Oh, this
No.
page just kicks so much ass.
Mm. The fucking Devastator falling down and just taking Starscream out with him. Carly falling, though, is like a very terrifying detail on this page that really works well. Again, the scale. But, our homie Cliffjumper's there to save her. Gotcha. It's all good. And she's devastated that we couldn't kill that guy. But Devastator, yeah. I love that it breaks apart into the little Decepticons and drives away. The Constructicons.
I will say on that double page spread though, with Devastator getting like all messed up and everything, I lost myself. I was like, what am I looking at towards the bottom there? I had to really look. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the
You
fact
got
that it's like,
lost.
it's not obvious. Like, I don't know if there could have been like a visual cue on the previous page with it like falling down and getting like a shadow. Like, we don't really have any sense of the topography or geography of like this point is above where they're standing. So when this happens, it's kind of like, oh, okay. Like,
Yeah, I mean, it's just like all this detail of everyone standing around too. I was just like, it was just like a lot of green. It blended in, Like, what am I looking
I
at?
mean, it depends on how nitpicky we want to be, right? Because he's standing on one of the little jet engines on the back, which is about all the setup that you get. And we're looking at this technically, like Carly is in Starscream's right hand on that page. So when you cut to the action, dude, far be it from me to like say, "Oh, did you see this is all wrong?" I mean, the right arm's missing and pinned underneath. Carly's flying over here. It may have made more sense. Oh wait, no, that would be his.
that's his left arm.
No, that's his left. That's his left. Okay, it is his left. I was looking at it
It was
backwards.
in his left hand the
I'm
whole
like,
time. We got
maybe
it.
I'm an
We're
idiot.
good.
But was it in the left?
Yeah.
I don't know. Oh, it was in the left, dude. I can't look at things. I'm a moron. Like I said, he's a much better person than I am. But yeah, all the scrap and everything. I just thought it was insane seeing the amount of folded detail that was there. And of course, he doesn't put a ton of detail in the runaway sequence. So you don't see all the battle damage on the Constructicons, but it's like they should be pretty battle worn as well after all this.
An Optimus with one last plea for peace. Like, let's save our race together. And he winds up with a punch, and Optimus just says, "Make no mistake, I desire peace, but I am no fool. I am no fool."
Yeah, make no mistake. I desire peace, but I am no fool.
And it's a shame
siree.
because this is our true return to Spike here in the last page with the "Where's my dad?" I wish we could have gotten some more Spike in this whole arc. We don't really get a lot of development. It's going to come in the next volume, as Spike recovers and like how he kind of grows from his dad sacrificing himself and all of that. But I don't know, man. It would have been cool to have more kind of focus on Spike. This whole arc is really Sparky's story. And Dan does kind of a switcheroo. And I don't know if I like it or not. I like playing with expectations from a creative standpoint and like changing up what you would think. But it does make me feel like, well, then why do we invest so much time into Spike to begin with? I don't know.
Well, he's the intro character, right? But he's not gonna. I mean, if you had to make Spike be the one to make the sacrifice, because you had to set up a character there, and if Spike was there to, convince his dad, you can't do it. Like, you still have me here. Then he may not have been as willing as if Spike was in a coma. Optimus had done all this stuff to help out his son, which I guess makes it easier to really focus on Sparky and all that. So, because like you said, this is an ongoing story. We're just reading the first part, like part one, even though it's 6 issues. So who knows where it'll go from here. I have a feeling, like you're talking about Carly being a BA, like when Spike gets back and sees Carly's all gung-ho to kill people or kill Decepticons, then I'm certain he's going to be the, wait, what's going on? Why is everybody so different? What happened? I've been shot this whole time.
I've been shot.
Yeah. Well, fellas, that's 6 issues of Transformers. The ongoing, nominated for an Eisner for best ongoing.
Awesome.
Should win for an Eisner for best ongoing.
I don't know. I've heard really good things about that Birds of Prey series that's been going on. Also, I'm not sure if The Flash is nominated for it, but I've heard that Cy Spurrier Flash is really, really good. But I digress. The Energon universe, it's exciting. It's a ton of fun to keep up with. Yeah, I know, Noah. I keep waiting for the first trade because I didn't hear about Birds of Prey until like issue 6. I was like, well, then I'll wait for the trade. But the trade's not fucking out yet because they do their dumb hardcovers at DC, which are beautiful but fucking expensive.
And take forever to release.
Yeah.
All right, so final thoughts.
Final thoughts.
I'll go first because normally I think Manny goes first, and then I'll jump in at the end. Dude, loved Transformers as a kid. Thought like all the Michael Bay stuff was all right. Just had a lot of nostalgia coming into it, and knowing that it was Daniel doing this, knowing his love for it, had high expectations. I would not call myself like a super Transformer fan, so I think I came in at the right level, which is why I don't think I'm as you can tell, I'm kind of harsh on some of the aspects of the book, but still would rank this as, pretty high tier DWJ. It didn't disappoint me in any major significant way. Artwork is gorgeous. Dan brings the energy, brings the fun. Story I thought was really tight. He didn't try to stray too far. Starscream, he just nailed just how much of a jackass and asshole he is. So I thought that was great, and not making Megatron the big bad, saving him for later. So loved it. Hell, inspired me to do a ton of Transformer stuff recently. So,
including one that Daniel Warren Johnson has in his possession.
So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Ben, why don't you share a little story about Dan?
Not Transformers. That's not what he bought. He bought a Do a Powerbomb.
I thought you did an Optimus.
That's what he bought. Oh no.
We'll do a Powerbomb eventually. We've just done so much Daniel Warren Johnson already, so I'm trying to save the flavor.
I sold a few pieces that were Optimus. Like I had an Optimus watercolor at Free Comic Book Day that sold to somebody. They were so awesome to come up and be like, "Oh, I love it. I want to buy it." So that was fantastic. But yeah. So it's always, to me, my excitement for a book is like what inspires me to draw something and just make me want to create, period. And if I'm like, dude, I just want to draw that now, like that's also just a high mark. So loved it, thought it was great. As I said, I have not cracked open issue 7 yet, but I'm really excited to see where that goes. I know we all had kind of mixed feelings on Jurassic League, where Dan was writing and another artist was drawing, but Kev, if you say it's good, dude, I'm excited to dive in.
Oh, honestly, the art is not like the issue with 7 and 8. In my opinion, the only issues are that the pacing kind of slows down a bit to kind of like set up bigger world building stuff. So I'm gonna hold off reservations to my actual thoughts until we get like an arc resolution to see what it all pans out. But it's still very much Dan like writing, and Jorge does a really good job of looking a lot like Dan, but not feeling
Not
like just a
being
cheap
all-
copy. You know what I mean? Like truly having that same dynamic energy and everything that makes this book fun, but with his own and enough of his own flavor that it really works. So I don't know why the focus on my camera just got horrible. Okay.
Uh-oh. Well, and again, Jazz is my favorite. So seeing Jazz be a badass, that was a huge help too.
Yeah, Jazz was pretty sick. Love seeing Jazz.
More Jazz.
More Jazz. Bring in the music, baby.
That's right.
But yeah, overall, very pleased with this run. It's a lot of potential. The Energon universe is great. You should go out and buy these trades. If you have not bought Transformers, Void Rivals, Duke, Cobra Commander coming soon, I believe this month. Get them. Duke and Cobra Commander are limiteds, so you buy the graphic novel, you buy the trade. That's the whole story. Get them. Void Rivals is fun. I have problems with Void Rivals, but I'm enjoying the ride so far. Kirkman does that thing where he just doesn't really give you a full story. He just keeps you like on the edge of your seat.
Your breadcrumbs.
Yeah, the whole time. Which I mean
Yeah.
is great if you're structured ongoings, but you know.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's like, I don't know.
Yeah. I definitely don't regret buying it week over week, but I'm still like, come on, what the fuck are we doing? Like, like
Give me something. Give me some juice, man.
if
I want some
anything, it's
juice.
because what's his name? Lorenzo De Felici's art is so fucking good that I just don't even mind. Like, you know what I mean? It's
Right.
like it's not
It
great
is really
stories,
good.
but it's fucking 20 pages of amazing art.
Did
So-
you give him issue 8 of Void Rivals, Kev?
No.
Dude, Manny, next time you hang out with Kev or hang out with me, I'm giving you issue 8. This is something, Kev, you and I ran into when we were at Free Comic Book Day at Acme. Issue 8 is just one gigantic action sequence, just a badass fight between 3 people, and it's just gorgeous. De Felici just kicks ass in that entire issue, and really just shows how much of an expert he is at action, getting to show it in his style. So
I do like
huge props.
Yeah.
Big
That's
ups.
Hell yeah.
Um,
All that
and
jazz
any
on there, bro.
yeah, all that jazz. Any closing thoughts before we let the people go?
No, man, it's good stuff. It's good stuff. It's ongoing. So it's got, kind of breadcrumbing a little bit, but it's pretty good.
Hell
Pretty
yeah.
good.
Manny, I know we've talked about this. You didn't give, you're famous for your like 5-word recaps, but being a DWJ fan, if you were to kind of rank this, not saying 1 through 5 or whatever, but high, medium, low, where does this kind of fall in your DWJ hype for what he's created?
Hmm. See. Well, Murder Falcon is definitely my favorite. And then I think it's probably Space Mullet for me because I just love Space Mullet. And it was like the first thing that I saw of Dan's. And this is probably on like maybe the lower end of it, mainly because it's not a full complete story like we were saying earlier. Like Transformers, it's not a whole thing. It's not just straight up Dan. He's also doing the back and forth with Hasbro and stuff. So it's gonna have a little different outcome, right? So keeping that in mind, still great art, amazing art. Okay, fantastic. Story wise, not my favorite. Still love the work that's being done on it. So yeah, would put that in your library. Yes, sir. Put it up there.
Yeah.
Draw
100%.
those panels.
And
in your
again,
sketchbook.
I think it's still just worth getting in on the ground floor while Energon universe is still fresh and new, so you don't have to read through a backlog of shit to like, it's not like, hey, you want to get into X-Men? Well, guess what? There's 70 years of comics you have to read. Good luck.
Have fun.
It's a universe that you can get in on the ground floor now. The stories are digestible, they're quick, they're snappy, they're fun. They're very lighthearted in the best way, not in like a fluff waste your time kind of way. But yeah, Noah says do a powerbomb is peak for him. Do a powerbomb,
Dude,
pretty fucking good.
I agree. We do a power bomb and like extremity. We'll have to start ranking these in order, but man, it's it's gonna be so difficult. Like some of those books, Do a Powerbomb and Murder Falcon are my top two. I don't know that I can put one above the other. They're just both such
Really
fantastic
good.
books in their own right. But Do a
I love
Powerbomb,
Extremity. Extremity's
I agree.
fantastic.
Yeah,
Yep.
Murder Falcon's probably my favorite, but
Yep.
I also haven't read Do a Powerbomb more than once. I've been meaning to reread that, but now that we do this, I've just been kind of holding on to talk about it when we talk about it here.
Yeah.
I'm also a huge fan of Wonder Woman Dead Earth. That book is crazy.
That's right.
And if you guys haven't spent enough money yet on GI Joe and Hasbro properties, Skybound just launched their GI Joe Kickstarter. It's already fully funded, so if you're wanting to hopefully reap some of the benefits of the little side rewards, they're doing like the full compendiums of
Yeah,
like
it's two
GI Joe.
hardcovers that are like this thick.
Is it just two? They look like it was 3 GI Joes and 3 Cobras or something insane like that, or maybe they were just different jackets. But God, they're just massive omnibuses of these things. They look phenomenal. But yeah, I agree. It's much easier to go out and just, as you said, Kev, go start with the Energon stuff. I love that they're doing the limiteds with Duke and Cobra Commander, and like you said, with Destro and Scarlet that are going to come out real soon, and they're firing on all cylinders too, in my opinion. Like they're great
Yeah.
short stories, great writer artist teams. I don't think you'll be disappointed. So,
And I want the caveat to be like, just for context for me, I am not a big Transformers fan outside of these comics. I am not a big G.I. Joe fan at all. Like, I've never
Same.
watched the cartoons. I saw those shitty live action movies and was like, oh, whatever. Like, Transformers, I liked the movies when I was a kid. I like the 80s movie a lot now, but I didn't see it as a kid or grow up with it. So, like, I'm green to this. It's not, you're not getting me with nostalgia for this kind of shit. It's just good. And that's all I'll say.
Same.
Like,
I will say that too. Yeah.
it's just good and worth reading and worth keeping up with, especially with the amount of schlock coming out of the big two currently. There's great books, but there's also some fucking dog shit ones. So if you had your pick of the litter with ongoings and shared universe stuff, I'd go Energon. It's a safe bet. It's good.
Yeah.
All
and
right.
Brock, go get Space Mullet, go get Extremity, dude. You will not be disappointed.
Yeah, those books are very good. If you like Dan, you'll love those books. If you don't like Dan, you'll love those books.
You'll love those books. Yeah.
Yeah.
You will love Dan after reading this book.
All right. Cough, cough, Spider-Man. Yeah, well, you know what? Spider-Man is pretty much never good. Sometimes it's great. Sometimes it's just fine. And most of the time it's a fucking mess. And I'm a huge Spider-Man fan. So I've earned my stripes to say that.
Yep.
Yeah. But there are some highlights. I'm a detractor, and in that I love Superior Spider-Man. Brock said Kevin, Ben, Manny, Noah. Got me on the edge of my seat. All right, fellas, we're out of here. Thanks for sticking around for all the rambling. We love you. See you next Wednesday. See you at Heroes Con. Kisses. We love you.
Yeah.
Roll out.
Peace out.